Hi there, this is an instructional video on how to carve a pumpkin. Before we begin, there's a few things that we need. You're going to need some newspaper or just a disposable table cover, some tape, a plastic bag, your pumpkin, markers, a permanent one and a dry erase one. You'll need an ice cream scoop or a large spoon, a long, narrow knife, a sharp paring knife, any specific pumpkin sauce, a bleach water treatment, Vaseline, and candles, as well as a lighter. Once you've obtained your needed supplies, it's time to grab your family or friends and work through the next few steps. Please be cautious when using sharp objects. We will be working with knives. The first thing that we're going to do is prep our work area. What we need to do at this point is get our table cover and put it over our working space. Then we are going to take some tape and secure it to the table to prevent slipping. The next thing that we're going to do is lay out our tools. The mentioned tools will be placed on our workspace areas so they're in arm's reach. The next thing we would want to do is add markings and our design to our pumpkin. We're going to grab our dry erase marker and begin tracing our design on our pumpkin. At this point, we can erase and adjust our design to our liking. We'll then use the permanent marker to trace the final design on the pumpkin. We'll also use the permanent marker to draw an opening cut around the base of the stem or a hand-sized circle in the back of the pumpkin to remove the pulp. To cut an opening in the pumpkin, you're going to use your long, narrow knife and hold the pumpkin firmly to avoid movement before you make your cut. This may be difficult because it is the first cut you're making into your pumpkin. If the base of the stem is removed, place it to the side for later use. For the next part, we will be removing the pumpkin guts. So for this, you will need to grab your plastic bag and your scoop or your big spoon. It's easiest to start with your hands with removing as much pulp and seeds as you can. Then grab your scoop or your spoon and scrape the insides of the pumpkin to remove any remaining pulp. Make sure this is done correctly to prevent any early rotting. Once you have done this, you can begin carving your pumpkin. Switch knives and grab your sharp paring knife and carefully start cutting along your design, making sure not to get too close to your hands with the knife. You can start by making big cuts and smoothing out the small details later. You can also use pumpkin carving saws to get down to detail. Once you have finished carving your pumpkin, you want to make sure it lasts as long as possible. You can do this by making a bleach treatment. You can add 1 tablespoon of bleach to a quart of water, or you can use any bleach spray for your restroom. Vaseline and petroleum jelly are also good substitutes to preserve your pumpkin from rotting. Adding a candle will turn your pumpkin into a jack-o'-lantern and bring attention to the work of art you've just created. Using a long candle lighter to avoid burning yourself to light the candle, or preserve your pumpkin a step further by opting out for a battery-lit candle or lights. Place the base of the stem back on top of the pumpkin if you use that method to cut your opening. Once you have your finished product, you can display it in your desired area. Remember, your preservation treatment will not last forever. Try carving your pumpkin the week of or a few days before Halloween. Repeat this process if you are carving more than one pumpkin. You should lastly gather any sharp objects, clean them as needed, and place them out of the reach of children. Thank you. Enjoy your pumpkin carving, and happy holidays.